on servers that are provided by these companies.
Yeah, but when it's on your phone, that's the thing.
Technically, they were reviewing the data before they entered your phones.
Oh, well, yeah, but on the way to your phone, they were reading
Yes.
it. And that's the problem, because when they were doing that, plus that's what you're talking about, the age thing, okay, and what they're talking about too, is if they hear a child on your phone, okay, talking to not you, but someone else, and if they think that something shady going on, they're going to send a red flag off about it, because for one, they do not know who this person is talking to your child on your phone. You know?
That's the slippery slope I was telling you about. If they're monitoring us, then that means they're also monitoring the children. Pedophile government, we don't want that. Because all they have to do is say, oh, well, you're a bad person. You shouldn't have your children. We're going to take your children, give it to the state. Oh, state? Yeah. Oh, they just might disappear into a freaking child pornography field.
Before you guys go on, let me kind of bring another aspect to this, because this is something that I found out recently on YouTube. If you guys don't know, like, I have Roger Hanson, which is my main account, but I also have an alternate account that I put Naroki's shows on, and Jaffe's shows too. And with that, when I went on there just here recently, and lo and behold, the only way I could get in there is if I had two-factor verification on. Now they have an on-off option, and because that channel is so small, I cannot use it if I don't have two-person verification on, and there's no option to do it or not. It's just that's the way you are, and that's what they're starting to enforce. Like, this verification crap is getting way out of control. And people,
Google does. They say they have the right to turn it back on if you turn it off. They've done it to me repeatedly.
You've agreed to it by agreeing to the terms of service agreement.
We know that, Mark. We know that.
Yeah, but
it doesn't make it right.
Yeah, but here's the thing. When you read that stuff and all that, I bet you can't tell where it's at, you know, because I mean,
again, in EEA countries, in most majority of EEA countries, that information has to be clear to the user. Must be understandable by the user. So it has to be written in such language that is understandable.
At what IQ level?
By a reasonable person.
Mark, at what IQ level? There has to be a standard of what a reasonable understanding is.
In most countries, the term reasonable is written into legislation. There is definitions provided.
Also, Robert, let me point out to you, like, the only person I know who would probably know where that is in the terms of service is Mark Edworthy. He's obsessed with the terms of services. So if you want to know where it is, just ask him. He'll find it for you.
I got to remember what's the Australian Act? So it's just now. The UK Online Safety Act and the Australian Act, which I can't remember what it's called now. I'm just trying to find it. No, I can't find it. The name of it. But yeah. Both acts state any website that is accessed by the citizen of that country. So in the UK, by the citizen of UK, and in Australia, by the citizen of Australia. So if a user actually, or if a person actually accesses a site that is hosted in Switzerland, as an example, and that's Swiss site actually violates the UK Online Safety Act. In theory, that Swiss site, or the owners of that Swiss site, is breaking the law in as far as the UK is concerned. And as I pointed out with the 4chan issue, UK citizens can access 4chan, but 4chan is based in the US and has got no offices in the UK. Therefore, they can technically, as far as they are concerned, ignore the UK Online Safety Act.
Well, see, this is what I was talking about too when it comes to that you put the blame squarely on the platforms because of their laziness. I brought it up to you about layering the terms of services for these platforms. Like, I shouldn't have to be freaking held accountable because of regulations that were put in by the UK or by the European Union. If I choose not to accept those terms of services, then I should be able to. Now, these platforms like YouTube and all of these other, and Facebook and all that, they're lazy. They don't want to layer the terms of services out so that it goes according to jurisdiction. Okay, and not only that, but I should be given the option of accepting those terms of services or not accepting them at any point. Now, if they want to take away my freaking right to stream or record or put uploads on, then that's fine. But don't get rid of them. Don't get rid of my identity on that platform. Make it to where I have the option to later on say, okay.
So every time you look into a site, you have to agree to a terms of service agreement.
Right, but
or every time you look into a section of that site.
I shouldn't have to be held. I shouldn't have to freaking accept these updates that they wish to add on.
You don't have to. As I pointed out, all these sites say, if you do not agree to the terms of service, then please do not use the site.
No, that's wrong. Like, I shouldn't have to be bound to accept those updates because I agreed to the first one that says, hey, you, from this point on, the terms of services can change according to my standards, and you have nothing to say about it.
Again,
if you
do
have something to say about
say,
it, you lose your account, and it's all, you know what I mean? That's bullshit. That's called forced compliance, and that's exactly what it is, okay?
And they showed too that companies like that would take and use your computer for storage. Where when you do the downloads, they would have it set up to where when you say yes, that you would act like a storage to their stuff in your own computer at any point in time.
That's as far as Microsoft's concerned with their OneDrive policy. But that's not true for other operating systems.
Well, yeah, but like if experimental or whatever, it was shown on the thing on TV about companies doing that stuff to where when you use their stuff, you would say yes, and they would set make room for their stuff to be put in and. Where when they want it, they can pull it out without you even knowing of it.
It's a bit more complicated than that, but
no, not really.
In general principle, that's the sort of concept that Microsoft pushes at this present moment. But we've got a number of different issues there. We've got a jurisdictional issue. We've got an issue of different laws meeting, well, again, jurisdictional. What I can see is that this is just a prelude to a enforced digital ID system.
Yeah, really, I do agree with that. That is true. I mean, it's it's getting, like I said, it's getting out of hand when it comes to this verification crap. You know what I mean? And it's like we were talking about John Altman's article with Forbes in one of our previous streams, you know. And he's all for enterprise IA to be regulated, where they can go in and they can data mine all the information that's coming out of that. And I understand that's all about the corporate world and stuff like that, but once they've established that in the corporate world, you know what the next step is. It's going to go into the private accounts, you know.
Well, you're talking about the debt where for children and all that. That's one right there, the AI. So with the AI going through the internet, supervising and all that, anything that sends a red alert to the AI is going to return that into whoever, and then who knows what will happen? Who will pop up out of the blue at your house? You know.
So what we're looking at is, in effect, a digital identification system that is regulated by a single body, a sort of international body, may that be the United Nations, may that be the Blair Foundation, or whatever.
You know that maybe war games? You know that maybe war games?
Yeah.
Okay, that machine there, okay, perfect example. A machine that powerful and all that can run things quickly. Play games like that. You take a machine that you hook that up to the internet. You give it functions, what to look and all that, and you all over the world. That thing's going to be hitting everything, and anything and it'll be feeding right back to all that data back to the person that wants it, and nobody will ever know about it.
Under the EU stroke EEA has various countries in the EEA have got the as of 2017-2018 the General Data Protection Regulations, which is meant to protect users from having their personal identifiable information, so name, age, address, being leaked to or being leaked. So if I give my name and address to a company, then under the General Data Protection Regulations, they cannot provide that information. So another company provides my consent.
I'm talking about computer to computer, where each computer
it's still it's irrelevant of how the mechanism is done. It's still there is still a human entity or a company behind that.
Yeah, but if a company, even if a company makes a computer that advanced and that fast and does all that, and it's set up to where it talks to the computers and all that, well, it's not saying that without going, like you said, about your data and all that, but getting from like working itself, you know, if they want to find out how many people with your name and where you're like, okay, with where you live at, how many people with your name and your age would you know that lives right there where you live at? You know, and a computer can understand that and look up through the phone book, digital phone book, you know.